All right, we are live.
Excellent.
Call meeting to order, first thing to do is pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No minutes to that. That delay.
Yeah, yeah, it was a delay. I have to mute YouTube.
Move the record, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we should be all set now.
Okay. So there is no minutes for adoption, correct?
Correct. Not for this one. We'll have them with the next one. Can you still hear me, Jess?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, awesome.
Number 4, public hearing, none,
Nope.
nothing.
No.
Old business, continuance of updated LD 2003 and RV ordinance, updates with KB cog, vote for a public hearing. That's what we're on now, correct?
Correct. We'll go over everything,
Right.
any questions, things like that. Hopefully we can get them addressed and push forward. Like I was just explaining to him, because we'll have our public hearing and it has to go to council. They have to do theirs, so we're looking like January right now for it all to pass.
Okay.
Well, go forward. So I'll let you take over, Jess.
Okay. So I know that the RV stuff was pretty pressing. Do you want to try to get that out of the way first and then do LD 2003?
Whatever works best for you. I am at your mercy. It doesn't bother
No,
me.
no. This is entirely up to you because I know that you had some.
We can start, let's just pick up with the LD where we left off with that.
Okay. In
And
that case, is it okay if I share my screen?
yep, do you need me to do anything for that or are you good?
It says I can send you a request.
Okay, there we go. You should be able to share now. It was accepted.
Actually, I wonder if it would be easier if I moved it over. Can you guys see this okay? Do you want me to make it bigger?
Yeah, if you could make it bigger.
How's this?
Oh geez, yeah, it's still pretty top. I'm gonna move the screen closer real quick as well.
I never,
This is-
I had doctor appointment, they.
I had it back here.
I'm not doing a good job.
So this is zoomed at 160%. Is that, it's still pretty small?
It's okay.
I'm moving it closer. Hold on.
But you guys have paper copies too, right?
Correct. I think we do.
Okay.
What page is this?
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah. They're the same ones that you guys have got.
Yes, I haven't done anything with, so I had a note for myself that we left off on section 3, establishment of districts. From here on down, it should be identical to what you guys have.
Okay, section 3. 13, no.
Yes, 13 zoning.
13.9.
Are you guys aware of a more up-to-date map than 2000?
You're talking about our zoning map?
I think so. I think that's what this is yeah, that's what this is referring to. I swear that Joel said, I thought I remember him saying he did one, but I could not find one.
Yeah, I think that's the same one we still continue to use for zoning.
I'm thinking there
Oh, I
might have
must
been
have,
newer. I
I'm-
remember seeing something 2 or 3 years ago that looked newer,
Oh, really?
I think.
yeah, I think I asked you guys this last time because I made this note. Yes, there is. Look for a newer date. I'll have to look in our files and see what I can find.
Okay, because we have a big map. We're also trying to update all our maps and stuff. The maps in my office were done in 2000. Oh geez, I don't remember the exact year now. But we are working on trying to get updated maps as well.
So
Um,
if it helps you at all, we have a GIS guy now. He can probably easily do those maps for you.
really? Yeah, me and
Yes.
Jack would like that because we reached out to the last guy that did it. And I think we're still waiting around to hear back from him. On doing an update, and so we can kind of have like a Google Maps overlay instead
I
of just the paper
yeah,
copies and all that.
I will make myself a note here to put you in touch with him.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Dover has that, and I was looking at their site, their website, looks good on there. It seems very simple and straightforward.
Yes, he has been working on Mount Vernon recently to do something exactly like that, like with
Okay,
overlays and stuff like that. So for each of these districts, I referenced the table that gives all the specific details. To me, it just made it more clear. Um, I also think to call them like one family residential district, one and two family and mobile home residential district, I think that might be misleading, particularly with the changes that LD 2003 are going to bring about. And it also, please don't take this the wrong way. It sounds a bit like classist a little bit. The wording is antiquated, I guess I'll say. Is everybody okay with removing this part of it?
Yeah, I think that would be okay.
Okay. Yeah, so under residential districts, it'll be R1, R2, R3.
okay.
So everything that's black will be staying. Can everybody see everything okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one family residential district, I wasn't sure how much you wanted me to do with wording on this. And because I'm supposed to just be doing this for LD 2003 purposes, I didn't go crazy with rewording stuff. I did a little bit, like I took out the high quality upscale part. Um, Let me know what you think of this.
So pretty much all the language you've been using, it's just pretty much bringing it up to the state standard.
And
Or,
like newer type language, yeah.
yes, yes.
Also, the planned residential development, I don't remember, but I don't think that's in the definitions. It's not detailed anywhere that I could find in the zoning ordinance. Is that like a subdivision thing? Uh, I couldn't find any information on it.
And residential development. I would say so, it probably had to do with the subdivisions such as the terraces.
Birchwood
Yeah,
Terrace, but you know, so I think a lot of that language is probably 40 to 50 years old.
yeah,
You know, because I think that's when most of that was done. I moved here in '79, and most of it was being built then.
okay.
What was it? I didn't hear quite what you said.
Oh, sorry, that was the Birchwood Terraces. It probably had to do with the subdivisions that they had started in the town.
Okay. Um, So just leave it in?
No, I don't think it needs, because I don't foresee anything like that going on again.
Yeah,
Are you proposing take out this entire sentence then?
that's what, do you guys agree on that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the way that it's worded is bordering on something that you don't want in your ordinance.
Right, I think originally, I think a little of this was talked about years ago, and I think originally it was basically they didn't want, mobile, or,
Yeah,
mobile homes and other things in that
Right.
district. Why they, and the only thing that's come discussed a few years ago was talking about tiny homes, which some people, put them in similar type category, or things of that sort. But, a lot of
But I
things,
don't know that you can regulate those out anyway.
right. That's why, a lot of this was done long time ago, and,
Right.
and I think, I don't know for a fact, but I think at the time, some of the people that were building some of these communities were the ones writing the language at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine so. All right, so everybody's good with one family residential district. You may want to, in the future, consider renaming the districts. I I am hesitant to propose anything because that's kind of outside the scope of LD 2003, and at this point, we kind of just need to get this done. But
yeah, and we'll add that to a list, cause we're gonna have other ordinances that we'll be going over and changing in the next, say,
Okay.
year. But I know that we are on a crunch with
Correct.
the LD
Right.
2003.
Another thing along with that is that would change counselors and everything else, because I think that's all based on certain districts.
It would change what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The town council makeup, because I think,
Oh, yeah, huh.
because counselors are from certain districts and things of that sort. So that might,
I'm not proposing changing the districts geographically. I'm proposing changing the names, like what they're called.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, I thought they were gonna do away with.
Oh, no, that's,
that's a big project.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot. And
My
that's,
mistake.
yeah, I don't know your town well enough to even begin proposing something like that. Uh, in light of that, instead of planned unit developments, should this be residential uses? Comma, professional offices and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it could be residential and, the home-based businesses, the smaller businesses, and things of that sort, we've been leaning towards. I think that would probably go along with it. Anybody else have any thoughts on that? No, nothing different than that.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you remember when we had our last ordinance changed, it was, what did we call it? Commercial low intensity. So it was home-based businesses, but if they were on a separate lot or not attached to the home, that they could still have that and come in front of the planning board. We adopted that last year.
Oh, okay. Does this meet that? Does this work?
It would, I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Um, so if you have this language in here, in order to meet the goals of the comprehensive plan of keeping 75% of the new housing units in the urban area, it is also appropriate for two-family dwelling units to add or expand to a third unit. That means that this district would then be eligible for affordable housing under LD 2003.
That some of the new, what they're pushing now is for multiple family
Yeah.
units.
Right. I just don't know if that's like what your intent for this district is. Again, not knowing your town real well, I don't know if this is an appropriate place for affordable housing, potentially. If you want that kind of stuff there, or if there's a better place for it.
So R1 is kind of the terraces in that area. R2. Geez, kind of spotty between R2 and R3. Because part of R3 is like Waverly Street, and then it cuts across the river to Sebasticook Street.
Okay. Yeah.
And of course, I have the huge map on the wall in the office.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, I know I've seen it long for years, but I just can't place everything off the top of my head, but.
Yeah, but
I think in the past, R1 was. Kind of taboo to touch too much, and then it's 2 and 3 with, I think we had a little bit more leeway with.
yeah, so I would say 2 and 3, you do have more leeway, those are more areas of the town. R1 is more of like the terraces and things of that nature, and then the R4 district, well, C4, the rural district.
Mhm.
Is pretty much all the outskirts of in town.
Right, everything beyond the downtown section.
Correct.
So this, you're saying that R2 would be a location where that would be
Correct.
acceptable. Okay.
I think so.
So I took out the daycare because that's really kind of specific and that kind of belongs in the table. I mean, how far do you go? Do you name off like all the things that are allowed? You know what I
So,
mean?
yeah, and that was one of the issues we had when we were adopting the new ordinance, the low intensity commercial. It opened up a whole realm of different types of businesses. Cause we were running into that issue where somebody wants to open a tax business, but it says you like a home tax office, but you can't have that, but you can have a daycare there. So that's why I think you were on that with Joel as well. And we came up with that term, low commercial intensity.
Low intensity commercial.
Yes.
I don't know if I was involved with that.
Okay, so that pretty much covered all kinds of small type home businesses to go in front of the planning board and let them decide if it would fit that district.
Do you guys have a site plan ordinance? I can't remember off the top of my head. I
We do have
apologize.
site plans.
So I'm working with Clinton on updating their ordinance, and that's how they're dealing with things like that is it would be reviewed, and it sounds like what you guys are already doing. It would be reviewed under site plan review, and the planning board would get the purview of reviewing the application and setting conditions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at now.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So this sentence, do you want me to leave it in then?
Okay, nurseries, board homes.
My only point with it is that that type of information would belong in the table of land uses for this district.
Yeah, I think it would be better in the table than in the wording,
Okay.
I think. What you're,
I have no issues with it.
yeah,
To be
it'd
clear, you have no issues with leaving it in or taking it out.
Taking it out.
Taking it out.
Okay.
Because the low intensity kind of covers that, whether it's a daycare or
Right.
boarding homes, so that's fine to go out, I would say.
Okay. All right. On to R3. Traditionally styled homes. What does that mean?
Means, I think originally it was meant no, not no mobile homes and no tiny homes and log homes or anything that did set the standard of today, but, I think now tiny homes and things are looking, like something coming more for the future, so. So that, I would say that might have to, I think we could, if we left it in there we're gonna be challenged on it at some point.
I think so too, but I wonder if we could word it
Right.
a different way.
Um. Yeah.
I'll propose some wording for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think something that would say that, you know. Similar type homes or, you know,
Right,
something.
yeah, I
that
got
would
what you're
fit
saying.
the area, so to speak, yeah.
It sounds sort of like a historic district.
Yeah, you know.
I'm saying, like the center
Right,
here, where most of the houses are late Victorian,
right.
wood frame. Um. And, okay, this is an example, back in Mattapoisett,
Right.
in Massachusetts, somebody in the center waterfront Mattapoisett put up this god awful bizarre thing. It was made out of sheet metal, looked like a Kleenex box in the middle of
Right.
all these 18th, 19th century structures.
Yeah.
It's the most hideous thing, and they got away with it because there was no
No
historic district
Right,
in that town.
right. You know, and it's like, I'm not putting down log homes or anything, but you know, like, if someone builds a pretty traditional log home right next to all kind of Victorian houses, it really stands out like
It'll
a.
stand out, yeah.
You
I
know,
think
yeah.
what you're talking about is design standards.
Yes,
Yeah.
Do you
'Cause you're
guys have
seeing
anything
more-
like that?
we do not, but you're seeing more and more, not here so much, but I know there's one in Palmyra, the shipping container type homes.
Right,
You know, where they stack them, they design
Really?
them. Oh, yeah.
I've
Yeah,
never seen that. I've
Oh,
heard, I
yeah.
mean, obviously I've heard about it, but
yeah, there's one on over in Palmyra. So
what are they getting approved as?
it's a residence, it's a big place. You know, I
Like,
don't,
if you guys got an application for that, would you have to approve it?
technically, if it fits the square footage and plumbing and everything else, I
Yeah.
think it would have to be.
yep,
Wow. That's,
and then they have to do, of course, they have to have like the 90-pound payload for the snow load and stuff for the roof.
right.
You know, but yeah, no,
You know, and technically, it's an engineered structure,
yeah,
so. You know, they're covered on a lot of aspects that way. But it's an engineered structure for what it was intended for. Cause you know, shipping containers on each end where the major square corners are, where that takes all the weight in the center of the container. You know, not made for any huge structural payload. So if you start cutting doors and windows, things of that sort, it can change things quite drastically.
Yeah.
Cause most of these that people have taken and used as a base structure for a Quonset type or hoop type building, whatever. They found out that, they have to do quite a bit of, structural engineering to them to get them to hold up.
So, as far as this goes, would historic homes or would that fit better?
Yes, I don't, you know. Now I'm looking at traditional thinking, well, I didn't do bad after all,
yeah,
you know, that's, you know. I guess we'd have to look at some wording, you know.
All right, I'll look into it and I'll propose some wording. I think most of the rest of this is just updating the wording, except for I'm proposing removing daycare centers, nursery schools, and appropriate conditional uses, because as we talked about with above, those are things that should be detailed in the land use table.
Right.
Does everything else in this look good?
I think so.
Is everybody good with taking out the daycares, etc.?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, family and community residential district R4. again, I just changed some of the wording around. Instead of encourages planned residential developments, would you like to say encourages residential uses?
Something along that line. Essentially, the R4 district is essentially the only real district with, potential for growth, besides, most everything R1, 2, and 3 in the general area of downtown Pittsfield is, there's a few lots here and there, but isn't too much
Built out.
built out.
Okay. So would calling it residential uses be more, would that work there?
Yeah, I guess, 'cause essentially most, it's mostly residential and then there is some commercial on
Agriculture.
agricultural and commercial. Agriculture was kind of throughout the whole R4 district. Commercial uses are basically on 2 or 3 of the main corridors,
So should it say residential uses, and residential and agricultural uses?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess residential, agricultural and commercial uses.
Okay. So if you don't have design standards, how do you judge quality design? Is it just because this is kind of antiquated? It was just something that was in here?
Yeah, well, now we have to call a move back, correct?
No,
Right.
we have not adopted MUBEC.
You have?
Or we have or have not?
We have not.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard. Okay.
Yeah, no, we have not.
I thought for sure from a number of years ago that we were, when Steve Seekins was here, that,
We did go over the
right,
4,000 and it was never adopted. It was enforced. But we went under that.
okay,
And so it technically, he was enforcing it,
okay.
but we could have adopted it then.
Cause I know essentially, once, I was told once you were in it, you couldn't get out of it. But if we hadn't adopted it,
We were never technically in it.
but I thought once, I guess I wasn't understanding that once we met that threshold, we were automatically in.
Yeah, there's no backing out once you adopt it.
Okay.
But we never did adopt it.
So I guess I was a little bit misinformed,
Yeah,
which I'm okay.
yeah, yeah.
So I did not take out the specifics in this because I feel like it's explaining like the intent of this district. For consistency, if you want me to take them out, I will. It's up to y'all.
Yes. If we don't have, if we're not following move back, it probably doesn't hurt to have something of our own in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
That,
and the state of Maine, that's the only thing that you can really go after is MUBEC.
right,
You can't adopt any other type. Let's see, active.
So is this good then? This family and community residential district R4?
I think most of that is set pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I thought leaving this in just made sense. Town center districts. I don't remember why I highlighted this.
Residential units are allowed only on floors above street level of commercial buildings. So, yeah, I'm not sure why you highlighted that either, but we do run into a lot of issues.
Okay,
Right now, where the first floor always has to stay commercial. You can do apartments on second floors, things like that. And it's kind of a touchy one, because I actually just had a call yesterday and I have to look into it some more. So we have a spot, it was an old tax office at the end of Stinson Street, on Route 100 there. Somebody wanted to buy it and they wanted to put a salon in. But they go, well, if we grow, we wanna maybe turn that into a residence and then build a separate building for a salon or vice versa.
what do you
And I
mean,
go,
like next to it?
yeah, I think it's a 2 acre or 3 acre lot, but it's in the C1 district. So with this wording, I can't really, they can only keep it commercial unless they did second story living. So to me, I personally don't see an issue if you have 2 acres over there and you wanna keep one place commercial and build a second as a residence, because there are a few houses over in that area. You know, already, but it also deters people, you know, from wanting to buy the property. You know, I, in my opinion, I feel like it could be residential or commercial. Not strictly, but then again, then that brings us into another issue, because town center district is right around here. You know, and say next to the movie theater, that building, then that could be, somebody could make that end up all apartments if we didn't keep first floor commercial.
Right.
And then you're gonna have people buying commercial properties.
So
Make,
I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, but I think with the other changes that are coming down the line with this affordable housing stuff, that is one of the few things that they're still allowing towns to like set boundaries on.
okay,
I think for now, if I was you, I would leave this in, and for the sake of getting LD 2003 finished, I would love to work with you guys on updating this outside of like beyond just LD 2003. Your ordinance is like they're really robust, but they're just antiquated. Um, I think if you ever, when you like open this back up for review for things other than LD 2003, I think that would be the time to explore that. I think
okay,
if you left this in the future, if you left this in as written and put something about like with planning board review, um, residential uses may be allowed on the same lot, something along those lines. Give
okay,
yourself the option to have planning board review it and do it as like a, I don't know, like a special.
Case by case.
plan, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yes.
yeah, well,
Okay.
so I'm speaking for you guys.
All right. So highway commercial district. I don't know why I highlighted that either. So I'm not proposing any changes except the wording right there. That one's pretty simple. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Again, I don't know why I highlighted these things. Again, industrial district, same thing.
Yes.
Okay. Corridor development overlay districts. No changes. Is that one good, or is there anything that you see
No.
that I should be updating?
I don't see anything changed there.
Okay. Medical services overlay districts. Good?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I'm not trying to rush you. I just,
No, not a problem.
would this read better if it said, and it's basically like changing a word for a word, low density residential development will be permitted but not encouraged instead of discouraged?
Yeah, I think that would be okay.
Okay. I don't think I did much with this district either. No. So I'm not proposing anything until down here. What is this saying? It almost sounds like it's part of a tax um tax law program, but I don't know why it would be in your ordinance.
It doesn't look familiar to me. I don't remember any discussions on that.
No.
You like similar to like a tree growth program?
Yeah, exactly. It almost reads like this entire district is enrolled in like open space or farmland or something like that.
Yeah, I don't,
I'm gonna make a note and ask Joel about that and see if he's is familiar with that.
And I'll look into it some more as well.
So you haven't run into that at all?
No, I have not.
oh, that's pretty far. Yeah,
Okay.
doesn't ring a bell at all.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. Okay, so riverfront districts. I think I only clarified the table name. Other than that, it's all the same.
And I don't see much changing with that, considering that falls under shoreland zoning.
Right. Same with this, probably. So for the airport overlay district, this sentence, residential uses not directly related to airport activities shall not be permitted in this district. What's an example of um a, a use that would be permitted, like for I really I'm kind of drawing a blank as to even propose an example.
Well, it looks like if you had a hotel for people coming in on the airplane, it was, be
Oh,
okay, but I don't see that.
but that's not a residential use, that would be a commercial use.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And we do have a trailer park literally at the entrance of the airport already, that's been there for years. And I don't really see much changing with that, considering also the town does own 3/4 of the way around the whole airport. That's all town land.
Okay,
Yes, so it shouldn't be much development there and
No,
without town direct knowledge.
exactly.
right. I think this is another thing that like if you go back through this for reasons that are not related to LD 2003, I would address that then.
Okay.
Performance standards. So I don't know if I looked this up. Do these actually correspond to anything? These little notes? This superscripts?
So just. Do you guys have any questions on that?
Yeah, I think, you know. A versus non-resident and everything, I think. That has to do with garden sheds and accessory buildings and stuff like that, and outbuildings,
Yeah,
Okay.
you know. I don't know, shipping containers have gone big because they're not a permanent structure, so they're not taxable. Yeah. So that, so a lot of people,
although I'm starting to question that. I'd have to talk to the assessor on that. Just like with RVs, I wanted to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jess. I wanna say somewhere in the ordinance, doesn't it state like once you. Take an RV and put it on blocks or off of its wheels, and if it's unregistered, that counts as a structure as well, and you get taxed on that.
I don't. I.
I was reading so many different ordinances, so
I
sometimes
know.
that different towns, they kinda,
I think for tiny homes, that's the case. I don't know if that's true of RVs.
okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know the answer to that. For this section, I clarified that what this is talking about is a non-residential accessory building as opposed to an accessory dwelling unit, which would have different parameters. Do you want to leave this? Again, this is probably outside the scope of LD 2003, and I should probably not be messing with it, but I don't want you guys to get into a situation. I want to bring this to your attention, I guess, is what I'm saying. Um, are you okay with allowing things in the setback, even if it's just a garden shed?
I guess at this point. I would say we can pass on this now and revisit it later.
Yeah, I would say we could revisit that later, cause that is another topic that we can go over that I've been
Okay.
running into a lot lately with. Buildings and things like that. Getting too close to setbacks. Due
Right.
to the lot sizes being so narrow. And people feel they're paying taxes on their property. And if they have 20-foot setbacks. And their lot's only 60 feet wide.
Right. But I think, cause a lot of these garden sheds that are sold and everything are on skids, so essentially. They're not a permanent structure and they can be moved quite quickly and easily, same thing with shipping containers. Until you have a shipping container or two and build a building on top of it, that becomes a little bit different
Yeah.
situation at that point.
So I think that's something we can worry about later on.
probably this too.
Right,
In my opinion, this should be through a variance. But
yeah, we can hold this off till another time.
okay. This is just some wording, some grammar changes. Um Here's and again, this might be something you don't want to address right now. It's just a little bit too variable, a little bit too ambiguous. Do you want to skip it for now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So again, we're talking about accessory uses and I clarified that this is for non-residential. In the servants itinerant agricultural labor, I mean, that's a lot different than like repairs or storage, but I think that might be something for a later date. And
Yeah,
the watchman quarter, I can't imagine that being like all that common.
no, that would have been, well, there's potentially, a bigger industry would have a, guard shack type thing, maybe that sort, but. Or at one time it was railroad crossing, guards.
Oh, okay, that kind of thing.
You know, which
Okay,
is pretty much gone by the wayside now.
right. So this is a brand new section for accessory dwelling units. Um, the stuff in green was taken from a different part of this ordinance and just kind of put into this section because you guys already had wording pertaining to this, so I just moved it. I'll let you read the first two paragraphs and we can kind of go over it. Is everybody good with that wording, or is there anything you see that needs to be changed?
I guess I'm still trying to figure out just what they're trying.
So for somebody to go live in an accessory dwelling. It, state law requires that you have some kind of subsurface water waste system. Which that's pretty much what it's breaking down.
Okay.
If they're not meeting that criteria, they're not gonna get a certificate of occupancy. For it.
Right.
So they would have to tie in. To whether they're in the town sewer and water areas.
Okay.
Or. As we kind of see it now, where. For example, if somebody wants to put an addition on their house for an extra bedroom, they're not getting it until they get a updated septic design plan.
Right.
Showing that the property can handle that, the septic can handle that.
Right.
They may have to extend their leach field or whatever, but they're gonna require a site plan review. A septic design review.
Okay, yeah.
Prior.
So these first two paragraphs, are these good?
I think so.
Okay. What is the name of the public sewer in Pittsfield?
Just Pittsfield water treatment.
Yeah.
Pittsfield what?
water treatment facility?
Yeah, Pittsfield Water Treatment Facility, the lagoon,
Yeah,
they call it.
Is that good?
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So under wastewater, these are the two paragraphs that go with that.
I can see that being something issue down the road too, you know, that was all built in the mid seventies, I think, 75, 6, 7 range, something like that. And that's just a sediment pond, you know, there's no treatment facility really, it's just settling ponds. So I can foresee that at some point becoming an issue. I'll be on board
What's
with it.
what's the name of the public water system in Pittsfield?
just Pittsfield
Water
Department,
district.
Water District.
Okay, and 3 and 4 are the water requirements. Is everybody good with those?
I think so.
Okay. So here are the requirements for this. Any lot where a single family dwelling is the principal structure. I use principal and primary synonymously in this, and I think I explained that somewhere. May establish 1 ADU. The accessory apartment shall have its own complete kitchen and complete bath and toilet. I think I took that from somewhere else in your ordinance. The lot owner of record must reside in either the primary dwelling unit or the ADU, except for, so this is wording that was already in here. I don't really understand it. So this is something that's going to be changing with the new LD requirements. If this is something that like is confusing or it's almost worth removing it because it's going to have to come out anyway, unfortunately.
I think that was originally probably put in there. So people wouldn't be buying houses, turning them into 2-unit apartments and,
Right.
you know, which won't apply now for the new laws, so. So
Right.
that probably could come out.
Are you okay with me taking it out?
Well, I think it has to come out now, doesn't it, to meet requirements?
So that, I mean, those rules aren't enacted yet, but by, I think, I can't remember the dates. I think,
We're gonna have to update to this
yeah, it's gonna have to,
eventually.
yeah, it's gonna have to come out.
And I don't know if it's good or bad, if someone can come in by residence and turn it into 2-unit apartment or something along that line, if that's a plus or minus.
And
Yeah,
at that point, it really wouldn't have to go in front of the planning board for review, because it's only 2, it's technically not a subdivision.
Right. Yeah,
all right, so I'll take it out.
okay.
All ADUs must comply with shoreline zoning requirements. For example, in the shoreline zone, for a single family residence to establish an ADU, the lot must have twice the minimum lot area and twice the minimum shore frontage. That's something that is not changing.
That's all because of shoreline.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. All ADUs must comply with property line setback requirements set forth in Pittsfield's zoning ordinance. An ADU is allowed on a non-conforming lot or in a non-conforming structure if the ADU does not further increase the non-conformity, meaning the ADU does not further increase the deviation from the dimensional standards creating the non-conformity. I know that's a mouthful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think essentially means you can't, you can build up, so to speak, but you can't build wider, encroaching on property lines, things of that sort. I think that's the way I understand it.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. ADUs do not count towards the total number of dwellings pursuant to Pittsfield subdivision ordinance. All residential dwelling units, including ADUs permitted after January 1st, 2024, may not be construed to interfere with, abrogate, or annul the validity or enforceability of any valid or enforceable easement, covenant, deed restriction, or other agreement or instrument between private parties that imposes greater restrictions than those provided in this section, as long as the agreement does not abrogate rights under the United States Constitution or the Constitution of Maine. I feel like this is kind of a no-brainer. You could probably remove it if you wanted.
No.
Yeah, we probably can leave it in for now.
Okay. If there's more than one dwelling unit on a lot as a result of the provisions of this section or multiple dwellings on, or the multiple dwellings on one lot section, the lot is not eligible for any additional increases in density except as allowed in the district.
So that pretty much means like lot coverage, correct?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, that's what that means.
yeah.
An ADU may be constructed within an existing dwelling unit on the lot, attached to a single-family dwelling unit as a new structure on the lot for the primary purposes of creating an ADU, or within an existing accessory structure such as a garage, if the setback requirements of this ordinance are met. That's an option. You can choose to allow that or not. To me, it seems pretty harmless.
Yeah, the structure's already there. You're
Right,
not- You're just essentially changing the interior of the structure more than yeah.
right. So that one's good?
You have any thoughts on that, Walter?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I think we're okay with that.
Okay. Uh. I don't know. Did we talk about having the minimum size as 750 square feet? I don't know why I put that in there.
Yeah, at least 750 square feet. So different zones require, we have different minimum sizes. I wanna say in like residential one,
Right.
I think it has to be, what is it? 1250.
Yeah.
14
was coming to hit, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I knew it was up there.
Yeah.
But that's for the primary dwelling unit. Would it,
So,
if you want this to be accessory and subordinate to the primary dwelling unit, you don't want it
Right.
to have the same minimum.
yeah, and we're
size.
running, and what I've seen, it's a lot of those Hillview mini barns.
Right.
They're under 750 square feet.
Hmm.
And so that creates a little bit of a hiccup for people.
Right.
So what this usually says is they must be at least 190 square feet. I think we talked about this and I thought that's what you said was the minimum size.
It is what,
Okay.
as of now, it's 750 square feet, but and then I run into people going, well, a 10 by 30 or 12 by 30 size building. It's still under 750 square feet.
Right.
So. It's,
What do you
Thanks.
want?
Yeah. Yeah, the smaller places are. I don't wanna say out of the future, but you know, they're pushing that way.
yeah, what about 500 square feet? That would. Be up to you guys really, but. It's more of that tiny home criteria, if that's what we're looking.
Cause 20 by 20 is 400 square feet, correct?
What?
20 by 20 is 400.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right. 20 by 25 would be 500.
yeah. Which, yeah,
Still a decent
yeah,
size.
500, you know, I guess. I could see
500?
going 500 range, you know,
Yeah,
at this point, and we'll see where that brings us down the road possibly.
Well, what's the shipping container?
Shipping container, 8 by 40, well, 8 by 20 is the small ones.
yeah, and then 8 by 40.
8 by 40s, or, you know, the bigger ones are 9, or, oh, 9 foot high, or 8.5 high, but essentially not. Yeah, so 8,
So it's still cutting out the shipping container
Right.
sizes. You know,
yeah. Cutting out a single shipping container.
there's always the loophole.
Once you
Alright.
start going.
So 500 square feet.
Right, I know. Because there are small places out there that are built pretty nice. And then there's other ones that,
Well, he just said the same thing about almost anything.
Right.
Especially the older people, you know, they're like, I just need a. Small place for myself, it's not that they have,
Upstairs.
yeah, no stairs, it's simple, it's
Right.
basic, it's easier to heat. You know,
you know, and I, in the past, a few years ago, I watched a few shows or programs with these small houses and. You know, not that I would want to live in one, but they're, you know, some of them are built pretty smart. I mean, they don't waste an inch of anything, you know.
no
The
stairs. that have
stairs,
doors.
there's draw, yeah, there's, you know,
Yeah,
which, you know. You know, they're small, but they're efficient,
mhm.
you know,
So
I mean,
what,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, what about maximum size? So I've seen towns do it as 60% of the floor area of the primary dwelling, which seems like it'd be more work, or just setting a base no larger than, 1,000 square feet.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't that kind of fall under lot coverage, which we already have? Like say 30% or 40% of the maximum lot coverage?
Um, it would both. I think what some towns I've worked with were concerned about is that people would come in and build accessory dwelling units that like far surpassed the size of the primary dwelling unit that was already on the property.
Yeah, cause like if you had a house, you know, a standard little, you know, say 24 by 24 cape or something like that, but you had a 3-stall garage, you could convert that garage, you know, to quite a big place. So I guess wording, I would say,
Yeah, that would be making it
Yeah.
like the primary residence
Right.
at that point.
so I
Right.
don't know. If we wanna say. No more than 60% of the square footage of the primary or something
Okay.
along that,
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
you know, if you have tons, yeah.
The percentage makes more sense than
Right.
trying to define it specific.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So the ADU shall not exceed 60% of the floor area of the primary dwelling unit on the lot on which it's situated.
I guess that's a good place to start.
Okay. So this is something some towns I've worked with adopted. All ADUs shall not exceed 2 bedroom. This is entirely up to you. If you want to include this provision, you don't have to.
I don't think we should limit it that, you know, just because depending on the size, you know, if, you know, if you've got a bigger ADU, you know, on a bigger lot, you know, you wanna limit it only to 2 bedrooms. I don't know,
Okay,
what anybody else's thought is.
As long as it's not going over that 60%,
Right.
I don't see
Yeah.
the issue.
I mean,
Yeah, if you
So
had
this
a
is-
2,000 square foot structure and with 60% more, that'd be another 1,200 square feet.
Correct.
That's substantial.
Yeah, so why limit it to a 2?
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
I agree.
Then there's also loopholes like that, don't put a closet in the room, and now it's technically an office. You know, people find a loophole
You would
for,
almost get around it.
yeah.
so this stuff in the green is stuff that was in here already. If you guys don't have design standards, I'm not sure. I don't know. The ADU's exterior shall be designed so that the appearance of the structure remains that of a single-family dwelling. That's fine. All stairways to the second floor shall be enclosed within the exterior walls of the dwelling. Any new entrances shall be located on the side or at the rear of the dwelling. Where there are 2 or more existing entrances on the front facade of a dwelling, if modifications are made to any entrance, the result shall be that one appears to be the principal entrance and the other entrance appears to be secondary. I'm not sure how you would accomplish that.
Yeah, I think that might have something to do when they basically were making second floor apartments and they had to be enclosed, so they basically put stairways and then build a, you know, an enclosure over it, and it really stuck out like a sore thumb.
I bet it did.
So that's why I
So,
think part of it was, you know, they were around on the side or in the back, so it
Yeah.
wasn't as visible.
I can think of 2 right off the top of my head that aren't enclosed, but right over here on Middle Street, they just did a whole new set of stairs going up to the back
Right.
of the apartment, and then over on Elm Street at the end, there's an apartment building over there. And on the side slash back, depending on how you're looking at the building.
Right.
Coming down from the 3rd story. So. It's not
So-
enclosed,
Right.
but
as far as the main provision 13, that one seems okay. Are you guys good with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
It basically, so it would look similar to the rest of the structure, so it wasn't, you know,
an eyesore.
so you wouldn't have clapboards on, you know.
right, yeah,
Sprinkle side on the side of it and then T111 on, or.
right.
or something like
So-
that on the rest of it.
What about Roman numeral I? All stairways to the second floor shall be enclosed within the exterior walls of the dwelling. Is that one good?
I think so, you
Okay.
know.
Any new
That-
structure or any new,
Yeah.
sorry. I
Not a
don't mean-
problem.
Any new entrance shall be located on the side or at the rear of the dwelling. Is that good too?
I think so.
Okay. What about 3, where there are 2 or more existing entrances?
Yeah.
With that.
Yeah, that one we probably could do without, because if it was a larger, you know, original single family home that was turned into, you know, a duplex or, you know. You'd be 2 primary entrances, one for upstairs, you know,
Yeah.
like, I don't think that's as necessary.
Okay.
And if it's becoming over 3 stories anyways, that's life safety and
Right.
fire marshals
Right.
would require. The secondary stairs anyway.
So that actually leads into this next one. The accessory apartment shall have its own separate entrances from the outside. But if it's an interior ADU, how would that be accomplished? I guess it would have to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have to have its own,
Yeah,
you know, technically, you would have to have a separate entrance. I don't think it means that you can't access that second ADU from the first primary. But
yeah,
it should have an entrance besides.
Okay. This one, I don't know if that's allowable.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
that's something I would have to double check.
Right.
The water district and see.
If the landlord is paying you all the utilities. Wouldn't
I
make any
mean,
difference.
we can leave it in. I propose that we leave it in, and then when I send this to the people from the DECD for review, if they have an issue with it, they can flag it and take it out.
Okay,
Yeah,
So one of the requirements for ADUs is you cannot require any additional parking for them. That's all that 14 is saying. And these are some options that you can choose from. I think we've discussed most of this anyways. I don't think you want to increase the number of allowable ADUs. We already talked about this one. Is everybody good with this stuff?
so the last one,
Yeah, I
Sure.
was thinking that should be added somewhere near the top.
right,
I'll get rid of all the rest of this and add that one in near the top.
okay,
Um, this is all stuff that was relocated. Oh, I think this is stuff that was part of your original accessory apartment stuff that I had questions about. There shall be no boarders or lodgers within either unit of the dwelling. I don't understand that, and I think that's gonna become illegal anyways under those new provisions.
yeah, I'm not familiar with that line at all.
Okay,
That's
so I'll just take that out.
Yeah, it's probably from old times.
Okay. And the gross floor area of the dwelling, including the basement, shall be at least 1,200 square feet, which amount shall be verified in the records of the building inspector. For purposes of this subsection, gross floor area is defined as the sum of the gross horizontal living area of the floors of a building measured from the exterior face of exterior walls or from the center line of a wall separating two buildings, but not including interior parking spaces. I feel like we've got that covered.
Yeah, because we already discussed on the square feet.
Right. The maximum net floor area of the accessory apartment shall not exceed 33% of the net floor area of the principal dwelling unit. We already covered that one too.
Right.
Okay. On to additional dwelling units on one lot. These standards apply to residential units for which a permit is sought after January 1st. And it's the same water sewer requirements. I'll go back in and add the names.
Right.
So this first part is exactly the same as the ADUs section. This is new from 2 on. This gets confusing. Undeveloped parcels, no existing dwelling units on the property. If a parcel is in an area in Pittsfield served by public special district or other centrally managed water system, or if the parcel is in Pittsfield's designated growth area pursuant to the comprehensive plan, the lot owner of record is permitted to have up to 4 dwelling units. The third and fourth units may be located within a structure or multiple structures. If the third and or fourth units are built within a 5-year period, this may be subject to subdivision processes, to a subdivision process. Subdivision ordinance requirements still apply. If the parcel is not in an area served by public special district or centrally managed water system, or if the parcel is outside of the designated growth area pursuant to the comprehensive plan, the lot owner of record is permitted to have up to 2 dwelling units per lot. The 2 dwelling units may be within a single structure or 2 separate structures. Subdivision ordinance requirements still apply. Does anybody have questions about that? That's kind of a lot to take in.
So I think they just updated the subdivisions with it on a lot, it's still 3 or more, it's considered a subdivision. You have to go for a site plan review, but apartments, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's up to 5 units now before you have to go for a,
You're right. That
Okay.
hasn't taken effect yet, but you're right.
okay.
Actually, they're doing the same thing with lots. So this is another section that will change once that rulemaking is finalized.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna dig into that tonight, but you're already on top of
Yeah,
the.
we don't have to, but
So they're gonna change that on property if you. You
The
can go over
changes
the,
that are coming down the pike from this new legislation are kind of scary, to be perfectly honest. I don't understand how they passed them.
yeah,
yeah.
I just skimmed on it briefly. I haven't dug into it yet to see all the details to it.
Yeah, it's not
Moving forward.
finalized, so I don't know. But I
Yeah.
don't know how much is gonna change at this point anyway.
if you used to be on a property, you could split it once, with no problem. If you split it. Again, you come into the subdivision unless it was going to a budding landowner.
Or a first of kin, like son, daughter, there's a few different,
Little parts.
yes.
So where this comes into play, if you put 4 houses on one parcel, it used to require, it used to trigger subdivision review, but they're doing away with that. Within a 5-year period. Again, this is a lot to take in.
I'm just there, I don't make the rules, I just.
I know.
Yeah,
They wanna get to the point in the future where. Nobody owns anything anyway, so.
do you want to move on to developed parcels? Is everybody good with this?
Yeah, I guess so.
As good as it's gonna get, huh? So developed parcels, lots with existing dwelling units on the property. If the parcel contains 1 existing dwelling unit, up to 2 additional dwelling units may be constructed for a total of 3 dwelling units. The additional dwelling units may be located within, attached to, or detached from the existing structure. The lot owner may choose to have 1 unit attached and 1 unit detached to the existing structure. If the parcel contains 2 or more existing dwelling units, no additional units are allowed. Is that one good?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. If more than one dwelling unit has been constructed on a lot as a result of any provision of this section or the accessory dwelling unit requirement section, the lot is not eligible for any additional units or increase in density except as allowed in the underlying districts. Five, all residential dwelling units must comply with shoreline zoning requirements. That one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
All residential dwelling units permitted after January 1st, 2024 may not be construed. So this is the same wording. It doesn't, this does not override covenants, deed restrictions, etc. 7, if more than one principal dwelling unit is constructed or established on a lot, all dimensional requirements for land area shall be met for each additional dwelling unit and or principal structure. For example, if the minimum lot size is 1 acre per dwelling unit, the lot size required for a second principal dwelling units would be 2 acres.
Yeah, that sounds okay.
See, I thought LD 2003 was changing that, lowering it from like allowing the dwelling unit and a residence on 1 acre.
For ADUs, it doesn't
Oh.
require
Not a-
an additional acre, but
Okay, I gotcha.
this is something else. I am not 100% sure, but I think this is something else that is going to be changed in the future. But I don't want to jump ahead to that, and I can't remember off the top of my head at this time. But as LD 2003 stands right now, this is what you're allowed to require. Is everybody good with that so far?
Yeah,
All right. 8, no additional road frontage is required for additional principal dwelling units on one lot. However, if the lot is ever divided and the dwellings are sold on separate lots, dimensional requirements for the district in which the lot is located must be met.
yeah, so that's good to keep that size lot, you know, the road frontage, you know, intact.
So that's an option to require that. You can take that out if you choose.
I think I would leave it in.
To me, it makes sense.
Right,
This is saying that subdivision statute still applies. So this one is really strange. I struggled with this with Unity. They called it a ghost house. If a dwelling unit is in existence after January 1st, 2024, and is torn down after that date, that lot will not be treated as a vacant lot. It will be treated as if the dwelling unit was still standing. See undeveloped parcels versus developed parcels. You can choose to treat it as a vacant lot or not as a vacant lot, but it needs to be addressed.
So if they demo it, I would consider that a vacant lot.
the only thing I can see with that, depending on if it's grandfathered in for setbacks and things of that sort. I know in the past, there's been places where, you know, it doesn't meet setback requirements now, and if you tear it down 100%. You weren't able to build back.
And with like a 1 year grace period, kind of like with the house that burned over here on Somerset Ave.
Okay.
That's why they haven't demolished it yet. The lady's not she's not looking to rebuild, she's
Right.
moved out of state. So they're hoping to sell it and the new person will have a 1 year grace period
Okay, yeah.
to get started on
I
building
think-
it. It's not
I
gonna
think
meet
this
any
is-
setbacks.
This is more about trying to limit the number of houses that could potentially be built. Because if this was if this dilapidated house was torn down and it was in a growth area, you could have up to 4 houses on that lot because it would essentially be considered a vacant lot.
You could have four houses only if it met setbacks.
If it met setbacks, or you
Right.
could treat it as if that house was still there, which would mean you would only have like 2 houses on it, I think. Yeah. 3.
Yeah. I think that-
Well, 2, because you're acting like one's still there.
Yeah.
So it's up to you guys if you want to say will or will not be treated as a vacant lot.
Kinda, yeah, you know. In Pittsfield, in the center town, so to speak. The lots aren't big enough to be able to build multiple houses, so to speak, so
Yeah.
I don't see it as big an issue there.
Yeah, okay.
I guess I'm a little. Trying to think of a good situation either way, but. Any other?
I'm wrestling with it too, probably like to say, I think,
Yeah, trying to think of a bad situation that,
is it better off to have opportunity or better off to restrict? I think you're better off with opportunity.
Yeah, I guess. If we went, called it a vacant lot,
So take the not out.
I guess,
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think,
yeah, and then. We'll see what happens. Kick the
All right.
can down the road.
Here are some options for you.
Yeah.
You can allow more dwelling units than allowable in this legislation. I don't think you want to do that. We just talked about this one. Towns may establish an application and permitting process. Violation of fee schedule. In the short-term rentals, I think that there's more to it than that. I think we already reviewed most of this. Is everybody good if I delete this?
The short-term rental thing, that's more like the,
Airbnb.
Airbnb type thing,
Right,
probably.
and I think that would be better addressed in a standalone ordinance, not just thrown into this.
I don't see that as a big problem here at this
Okay.
point.
We don't deal, we have a few of them in town and
Yeah,
they're not anything,
not nothing we're pressing.
no.
Okay, so you guys aren't dealing with a bunch of that
Nope.
stuff. Okay. So affordable housing requirements. Affordable housing developments are permitted in zoning districts that allow multifamily housing and are in Pittsfield's designated growth area, which are, is this correct? R3 and R4 residential districts?
R4,
Yeah,
But not R3?
well, technically, they 2, 3, or 4.
yeah,
It's 2, 3, and 4?
I would say so.
The only way it's gonna happen is if somebody buys places and tears down and builds new structures, which.
And we have these little lots that keep popping up. When I say little, they're still meeting all the criteria to build, but like I have one right now that I'm dealing with is over on Bates Street. And it looks like it's a very tight lot between 2 houses, but I was out there measuring today and it's 66 feet wide.
Yeah.
132 feet deep. Doesn't look like that.
Right.
So, the requirement road frontage in that area is 50 feet. So they're still making it, right? I know the neighbors aren't happy having somebody moving right on in and getting ready to develop, but it meets the criteria.
Yeah.
The planning board shall review all applications for affordable housing developments per the town of Pittsfield subdivision ordinance. I'll add in the name later. This water, wastewater stuff is exactly the same as ADU and additional dwelling units.
Right.
Let me know if I'm going too fast or anything.
No.
So all affordable housing development should be plural. Must comply with shoreline zoning requirements. I don't know why I forgot to add the S on these. All affordable housing developments must preserve 51% of the units as affordable housing as defined. The owner or agent of the affordable housing development must, 1, execute a restrictive covenant, 2, record the restrictive covenant in the Somerset County Registry of Deeds to ensure that at least 30 years after completion of construction, all rental housing occupancy of all units designated affordable in the development will remain limited to households at or below 80% of the local area median income at the time of initial occupancy. And for owned housing, occupancy of all units designated affordable in the development will remain limited to households at or below 120% of the local area median income at time of initial occupancy. For area medium income, there should be median, will be determined by main housing at the time of the application is submitted. Sorry, I really read that poorly. I hope you got the gist.
Yeah. Good. Understand.
Is this good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be a fan of it anyway.
What's that?
I don't think any of us plan on doing any of this.
Well, yeah, I understand. Each dwelling unit shall be equipped with approved hardwired smoke and CO detectors according to the National Fire Protection Association's Life Safety Code. Multifamily dwelling units that fit the above criteria for affordable housing are allowed to have a dwelling unit density of 2.5 times the base density that is otherwise allowed in the it should be R2, R3, and R4 residential districts, and 2 off-street parking spaces for every 3 units. For example, if a developer can build 1 unit on a 2-acre site under this ordinance and designates the development as affordable, the developer would be eligible to build 2 units on that 2-acre site. Is that too verbose? Like, should this be simplified? I struggle with thinking of how to simplify it.
Right. You know, the next line down, the 2 off-street parking spaces required for every 3 units. That limits things right there quite a bit on, anything done in town.
Right.
But I guess at this point, it looks okay.
Okay. I think we're done with that kind of stuff. I mean, this is a suggestion. You don't have to deal with this now. You don't mind? I think there was a few other. Oh, we got to go through definitions. Unless you guys want to meet. You guys have been here for a while. do you want to go over the definitions and at like the next meeting? We can go over RV stuff and the definitions.
Would you guys be able to Zoom from home at some point? Or
Yeah, probably. My wife will help me. Well, are you set up to do anything like that?
Never did it on that, my wife could probably set it on.
So what would happen is she would send us a link
Right.
and we would all kind of click on the link and it would kind of tie us all into this, and we could do that on a different night. How do you feel about it, Walt?
I hate those things, but I'm not gonna be so, I don't wanna hold it up, so.
You know, I'm good either way, but you know,
Okay.
not like coming in here for meeting is way out of the way anyway.
Yeah, but
You know,
if a certain time, we can have another special meeting in the meantime. And come up with a date and a time that works for all of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I know we're on a roll. I'd like to help you guys get this finished.
absolutely. When is our deadline for this?
That's been gone for a while.
I thought it was last year.
I know it's been gone, but didn't we get like an extension or wasn't there something?
That's for the
that-
money.
Okay,
You didn't get an extension for adopting this, but you got an extension for the money, and I don't know, that was between your town and the DECD. I don't know what that would be.
okay, yeah, I can look into that some more,
Okay.
so,
We're just lucky they got bigger price someplace else.
yeah, so. All right, well, we can continue this, I'll come up with a date. I'll touch base with her more tomorrow.
If
And,
you're gonna wanna do this, Zoom, I'm gonna try it, I mean, I don't like them, but I
okay,
can make it work, it's up to you.
that's up, yeah, we'll come up with a plan, whatever works for everybody, we'll check with the members that aren't here.
If you're in your recliner and fall asleep, we won't bother you.
Okay,
I could do the same thing.
all right, so are we all set as of right now?
I think so.
Okay. Well, Jess, thank you again.
Thank you all so much. I really appreciate that you guys allowed me to zoom in and everybody was
grateful.
engaged and had helpful comments. So thank you. It was very
Yeah.
obvious that you read through this too. So I appreciate that.
Not as much as we probably could have, but
All right, Jess, well, I'll let you go. You have a good night. Thank you again, and I
You
will
too.
reach out to you tomorrow. And we'll go from there.
yeah, thank
That
you.
sounds good. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night.
Yes, have a good
Bye.
night.